So before I start, I just want to tell a bit of a story. How many of you remember the Pokemon, Pokemon TV show? Yeah? How many of you remember when they came out with the Pokemon games for Game Boy?
Yeah.
Well, my mom made the mistake of buying me one of those Pokemon games when I was younger. She got me the Pokemon Red with the red dragon on the front, Charizard, and all I did was play that nonstop. I neglected my schoolwork, I neglected my family, I neglected my pets, I neglected my chores, everything I had to do. And finally, my mom got fed up, and she came to me and yelled at me in her French accent and said, "Vittorio, all you do is sleep, eat, and poop." So, what I didn't know at the time was she was actually teaching me the basics of a very important biological process that occurs in our body, and it has to do with eating and pooping. Can anyone guess what that biological process is? What do you think it is? Digestion, right? Eating and pooping. The first step for digestion would be eating, and the last step would be the pooping, right? And we all know what food looks like coming into our body, right? It looks delicious. It smells good. And we all know what it looks like coming out of our body. Most of us would think it doesn't smell so good and doesn't look so nice. So today what we're going to do is we're going to embark on a journey throughout the digestive tract to see what the food looks like in between us ingesting it and pooping it out. Okay? So before us today, we have various food items that you're all going to feed me. Okay, you're not technically going to feed me. This represents my mouth. I'm going to get some volunteers to come up front and feed me some different food items. Okay? So give me some volunteers. I want someone to come and feed me some beans. Come feed me some beans. Come on, feed me some beans. Be generous. Pour a bunch of beans in my mouth. Go ahead. Come on.
Come on. Sorry, they're stuck.
Use your fingers.
Okay. Well, thank you for the effort. Okay, so now we got, who wants to come up here and feed me some tuna? Who wants to feed me some tuna? Come on up, feed me some tuna. Tomato tuna. Right there. You can't tomato tuna? Feed me that. Put that right in my mouth.
I hope someone's going to be eating this food.
Actually, some of you are going to share it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, Ian? I know you've been waiting for this. I want you to come and feed me some wieners. Oh. Okay? Nice big juicy wieners. Okay? Just grab it, put that right in the mouth, okay? Put it right in the mouth.
My hands are really like...
There you go. That's the part. Okay. All right, who wants to feed me the Joe Louis? Somebody, come on up.
Go, Fatima.
Don't eat it. Save it for the demonstration. Put it in my mouth right there. Thank you. How about some applesauce? I'm going to feed myself some applesauce because you've all been very good feeding me. I can't be treated like a king all the time, right? So I'll put some applesauce in there too. This is what I eat on a daily basis, by the way, in one sitting, in one meal. Being very good, actually. Being serious. Okay. Should I add some nuts too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll add some nuts to it. Some cashews. Cashews are good.
Okay, I can smell it.
How do we initiate digestion? What is it we do to initiate digestion?
Chew.
We chew, right? First we chew, okay? So this potato mash here will represent my teeth chewing. So I'm chewing up all the food here, okay? Look at all the applesauce, all the tuna mixing up together. Does everyone see that? My teeth mixing it up there. Okay, now when we put the food in our mouth, does it stay dry?
No.
No, it gets moist. How do we moisten it? With saliva, right? What are the two main purposes of saliva? Two main purposes, yeah.
It contains enzymes?
It contains enzymes, yeah? To digest, right? To break down sugars. And what else? Why else do we moisten our food? To lubricate, right? So we don't choke. Okay? So where does the saliva come from? Salivary gland, right? So I need someone to be my salivary gland. Come on up. Go ahead. You can be my salivary gland. Fit right in my mouth. Well, don't fit in my mouth. Okay? Put the saliva right in my mouth. Force them. Be generous there. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, that's good. Okay. So now we need the enzymes, right? Someone mentioned enzymes. Who wants to come put some enzymes in my mouth?
Amanda.
Yeah, go ahead. Come put some enzymes in my mouth. Thank you very much. Good. So I'm still chewing a bit. Okay, we're doing some chemical digestion, mechanical digestion here. And now there's a muscle in my mouth that can help me manipulate this bolus of food. What's that muscle? Don't say the biceps, not the biceps. The tongue, right? The tongue. So we use the tongue for manipulating food and for French kissing, right? So I'm going to use my hand to represent the tongue, and this is going to push the bolus of food towards the back of my mouth so I can swallow it. Okay? And it goes down a little hallway. What's that hallway called? The esophagus, right? So if the mouth is one room and the esophagus is the hallway, what's the next room we're entering after we pass through the side here is going to represent the stomach. So now we're going to push the bolus of food into the stomach. Okay, there you go.
Oh my God.
Bolus of food into the stomach. Let's hope I don't make too much of a mess. I felt kind of really like. There you go, all my stomach.
You know what? It's
So the stomach is a muscular organ, okay? Does anyone know how many layers of muscles the stomach has?
3.
3 layers. It has 3 layers, correct. Now the stomach crushes up this food. Does anyone know what the scientific term for the stomach crushing up food is called? What do you think? Close. Let's get that. Yeah, it starts with an E. I'll give it away. It's emulsification. You emulsify something, all right? So when you want to threaten someone, you don't say I'm going to crush you. You say I'm going to emulsify you. Okay? From now on. So I want an army of super geeks here. Now what happens in the stomach? What is added to help break down the food some more? Enzymes. There are enzymes added, and stomach acid too. Hydrochloric acid. Good. So who wants to come put some hydrochloric acid in my stomach? Someone? Where's the hydrochloric acid? Right here. Does anyone want to come? You brave enough? Come on up. Put some hydrochloric acid in my stomach. Good. Good. Thank you. Okay. So now, what can you tell me about the pH inside my stomach? Now that I added some acid. It's a low pH, right? So what can you tell me about the enzymes that go in my stomach? What can you tell me about their optimal range of function for pH? They have to work at low pHs. So one example will be pepsin. It works at pH of 2 or 3. Okay? So now we mush that around some more. Okay? And what's the next step for this? What's the next step? After the stomach, where does it go?
small intestine.
The small intestine, right? So to go through the small intestine, I have to go through a little muscular ring. Does anyone know what that muscular ring is called? A sphincter, right? So it's going through a sphincter, it opens up, and it squeezes it through.
So disgusting.
Uh-oh, don't burp.
Oh no.
Yeah, ulcer, good. Okay, so we know that this is acidic now, right? And acid could hurt our intestines. So how can we kind of remove the acidity from this chyme here? Adding it to the base, right? Well, that's the sodium bicarbonate that comes from some accessory organs of ours, okay? The pancreas. So I'll put some sodium bicarbonate in there. All right, to neutralize it a bit. And also other accessory organs help us here. Does anyone know any other examples of accessory organs that we use? What do you think? The liver, right? The gallbladder. What do they? Do you know what they produce?
Bile.
Bile, right? So bile pigments and bile salts. So we'll put some bile salts in there. We'll put some bile pigments to give it the nice poopy color. All right, brown. That's the scientific word for stool, poop. Okay. Now, in the small intestine, is where we come to the fundamental question here. What is the purpose of digestion? Why are we digesting food? Why can't we just eat a Joe Louis, poop it out, and still have it look like a Joe Louis and just recycle it and keep on eating the same thing? Why does it have to look like this? What do you think?
Nutrients to absorb it.
You want to absorb your nutrients, right? So what we have here is a sponge. This represents the villi on the intestine that will absorb nutrients, okay? So I'm going to go absorb the nutrients from this food. When for the last class, I took this glove off and I had to do it with my bare hand. So now we absorb all the nutrients and we're going to put it into the blood so the blood can deliver it to the rest of the body system. Okay, so just absorb some nutrients, put it in the blood. Perfect. I wasn't joking about that, see? She did it. Now, after the small intestine, where do I go? Large intestine, good. I'm going to the large intestine. Okay. Does anyone know what happens in the large intestine? The main thing that happens in the large intestine?
Water.
Water, right? So this sponge again representing my villi will absorb some of the water. What would happen if the water wasn't absorbed? Diarrhea. Good. Or again, I said this last, it was a lame joke. Not good. You don't want to have diarrhea, but good answer. Okay, so put this into the blood. Yeah, be careful there. See, usually I spit when I talk, so this is. Now we're going to the last portion of the large intestine, the rectum. Okay? We're going to the rectum. Let's put all this in there. I'm going to lick my fingers after this. Okay, we're in the rectum now, okay? Does anyone know the last step? What's the last step now? There's one final step. Defecation? Okay, yeah. So getting a good book, going to the bathroom, right? Taking a comfortable seat into the toilet. you don't have to order complicated chemicals. You could just use stuff you find around the house. Some of you don't like the smell. Yeah, this was from last demo too. I didn't empty it yet. Empty it in the toilet and leave it there. Actually. But yeah, it's a nice demo.
Oh, no.
You don't have to like spend too much money. You can just find stuff around the house. You don't have to order fancy chemicals. Students will love it. You could use it as a hook, or you could even use it to review the material later. And there's something they'll remember, because I believe that when you give students some kind of emotional reaction, they'll always remember. Like, oh, remember when Mr. Brady pooped in that bucket? So they'll remember for tests. It's good exam review. It's always fun to engage the students with. And that's it. I mean, if you want to know what I used here, I used malt vinegar for the stomach acid. This is just regular Gatorade. You could use water and food coloring just to give enzymes some spice. You know, just have some colors there. For the saliva, I have to tell you, my mouth was really dry after filling this bottle up. You know, I can, it's just some soap and water. Over here is some sodium bicarbonate. I actually just had some baking soda and water. For the bile pigments, I just used water and some brown paint. This is bile salts. You could just water and food coloring, but this is still the Gatorade. I just didn't empty it. And then just food items you have around the house. So I get some nasty food items to put in there. Ask for allergies too, in case anyone has any allergies.